Welcome to No Stats, where we call it how we see it.
Himmy! Or should I say, Jim Butler?
Bro.
Time.
Bro. When we did our preview and predictions for the Western and Eastern Conference Finals, I said I had the Heat in 7. You looked at me like I was crazy.
I definitely did. I kept thinking about that yesterday watching the game. I was like, oh my God. The Heat just look so like poised, bro.
Crazy, bro. Bro, they just a well-oiled machine, ran franchise, and you got a guy at the helms that's leading the charge who, possesses everything that you look for in a superstar. And I think we've seen that game one. I don't think it's going to be an easy series. I think Boston definitely takes the next one, but let me know what you're seeing in game one, your thoughts, your takeaways.
I would think after 2 series that opposing teams would start taking this Miami Heat team seriously. And it just seems like, when these teams get up 10 and get up 12, they just think that Jimmy and the Heat is just going to lay down and just hand them the win. Down 13 yesterday and came back and pulled out the dub. And you, round about like the 6-minute mark, you can see like the tone and the tempo of the game start shifting towards the Miami Heat. And Boston just looked out of sync. Tatum was used in a kind of a weird spot. I felt like he needed the ball in his hands more. But instead he was being used as a screener. And Miami, he was able to take a lot of things away. Bam played phenomenal. I don't know if he can sustain this whole series, but if the Heat want to continue to win these games, they're gonna definitely need Bam to be 20 and 10 a night, man. What you saw, bro?
I agree, bro. I mean, outside of Jimmy Butler being the guy, and I was leaning Heat first game. I feel like when a guy comes off an amazing performance to close out a series like Jason Tatum did, it's hard to follow that up. Mm-hmm. You got a team hungry waiting for you, and you just came off a 7-game series. I kind of felt the Heat was going to take this one. But before I get into the game, I seen something. Is this the greatest 8 seed of all time?
I mean, bro, when you look at it, I would say
no yes. Tyler Hero, no Victor Oladipo.
Bro, I gotta say yes, bro. I mean,
so
even the dream team? Oh, I keep saying the dream team. The We Believe Warriors team. They fizzled out in the second round.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like after they won that first round, it wasn't like speculation of them actually like taking it all the way. After the Heat knocked out the Bucks, we kind of knew that they was coming out of that Knicks series.
And does the Bucks loss look as bad if the Heat make the? That's why I said I felt like the Mike Budenholzer firing was too premature, bro. Like I get it, but this is a really good Heat team.
You already know how I feel about Mike.
I know. You was happy he was going. But
be hot, boy.
But nah, bro. What I seen from the Celtics is what I've been seeing the whole playoff series. An inconsistent ball club. I think Jason Tatum is a guy that can give you a 51 like he did in Game 7 versus Sixers, but he also a guy who can struggle from the field. Jason Tatum has yet to take that I'm that guy step. You know what I mean? Like on a consistent basis.
Consistency.
Jason Tatum is in his prime, right? You see what Jimmy Butler is doing on a night in, night out. Steph Curry, LeBron in his prime. I can go down the list. Kobe in his prime. Giannis, KD in his prime. Devin Booker this year.
I was on the bullshit and say I didn't hear KD.
But bro, when you are taking that step into superstardom, you gotta go. I'm here. Let me show you I'm here. You know what I mean?
And it can't be every other game.
Yeah, it can't be. And I just don't know if I can consistently get that out of Jason Tatum.
I also think too. Oh, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Jaylen Brown has been a little quiet as well.
He definitely
I don't know about the Celtics head coach.
Mazzulla he looks lost sometimes on the things. Like I said yesterday.
No timeout in the third quarter, bro. They got blown out in the third quarter, and he didn't call not one single timeout.
Bro, I think he's still learning. He looks inexperienced at times, and even call a timeout in the fourth and get in the Celtics' ass to let them know to get Jason Tatum the fucking ball. Jason Tatum shot the ball 4 times yesterday in the fourth quarter, bro. That can't happen, bro. That cannot happen.
Not at all.
And I also think, like, Tatum had 30. Jaylen Brown, I think, maybe had like 23, 24 points. But outside of that, like,
yeah,
you need more. I think Brogdon had 15 off the bench, which, he did his job, but you need more from the Derek Whites. Marcus Smart did a phenomenal job facilitating, but you also need him to be aggressive, him to score more. Al Horford, you my guy, man. But 7 points these last couple games, like, we need more. It ain't going to cut it, bro. You got to be a consistent 11, 12 a game, especially in this series versus the Miami Heat, man.
Facts. They'll come back and they'll win game 2. Go ahead.
Now, we're going to say, in credit to the Miami Heat role players like Caleb Martin, you seen that championship DNA and Kyle Lowry, who went off in that second quarter. Kevin Love pitched in with 8 points. Gabe Vincent had 15. Max Strus heated up in the third quarter, went off for like 12. Like, you need that from your complimentary players. If you play bad in that first half, you don't have such a up to par first half, you got to come out in that third quarter aggressive, ready to compliment your Jimmy Butlers, your Bam Adebayos, like, and that's what the Heat role players did, bro.
Yeah, bro. And I know we're talking about Boston, right? But I just want to take a second to just acknowledge that Heat franchise and what they're doing over there, bro. It's like they're holding everybody accountable. I think they have 7 undrafted players. Bro, like, the way that they operate, I don't think it's getting enough shine. Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, you got to tip your hat to them. They've been in 3 conference finals in the last 4 years. They got Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler had problems. He bounced around, right? People started to ask if Jimmy Butler's a problem. The Philly thing, the Minnesota practice with the players and all of this. He gets to Miami, a culture that's stable, a winning organization, right? Timberwolves in Philly ain't been that in forever. And now you see him fit right in. Man, I just think Miami and what they're doing over there is amazing. And
especially
we preach about
Big Three.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Because every other franchise that loses LeBron, I'm not gonna say every other franchise, but when he's only been 3. But when he left Cleveland the first time and left Cleveland the second time, and I know Cleveland has been a impoverished franchise before him anyway. But it's just like it's an amazing accomplishment to see them back on top and what they've been doing. So I just want to tip my hat to that Miami Heat franchise. And Peach brought up something that we're gonna do a whole video,
I was about
a whole show dedicated.
to pull it up too. I was about to pull it up.
Is Jimmy Butler a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done? And to add on to that, I seen Colin Cowherd. That's my guy. I like watching his show. He said, "Would you rather have Jimmy Butler's career or Klay Thompson's career?" So that's the question I'm gonna ask to you: Jimmy Butler or Klay Thompson's career?
Damn, that's tough.
That's tough, right?
That's super tough, man. Because at the end of the day,
Klay Thompson,
you want to be a
really
winner,
quickly.
The ultimate winner.
Real quickly, Colin Cowherd said Klay Thompson has never been the second best player on a championship team. When they won, Iggy got Finals MVP, and Steph could have. When KD got there, KD and Curry was the 2 best players. Last season, it was Wig and Curry.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Klay's a winner, but can you not call Jimmy a winner? Like, either? Like, in that, I know it's different levels to it, but if you swap them and you put Klay on the Heat right now, I don't think they make it out of the fucking play-in. I don't even think they get that seed. And that's no disrespect to Klay's game, because I know the way Klay game is orchestrated and his injuries.
Different style.
But it's just I feel like Jimmy has a different level of respect because of the way he carries himself, the way he carries a team, his leadership qualities, his leadership intangibles. The respect around the league, that's big. That's big. And that's something that would make me consider. Yeah. That would make me consider like, damn, man, you could have the 4 rings, man. I might gotta take the respect, man. I gotta let that one marinate, man, because I don't know.
Hell yeah, bro.
I don't know.
Hell yeah, bro. And it's like, and it goes back to that. And this is why I always say championships are great, but I don't like to use them when we go individual comparisons, right? Because it's a team sport. If this was tennis or boxing or swimming, or golf, now we can compare one-on-one. It's an easy comparison. But this is a team sport. You got to have a great supporting cast. You got to have an organization like Miami, like certain organizations that build great teams like Golden State. Everybody can't hit in the draft. Everybody can't bring in those players and do those type of things. So rings is you can add it in. That's the ultimate goal, but you can't hold that against somebody totally.
Nah, absolutely.
So that's why I always, that's a tough argument. I would probably pick Jimmy Butler's career because I even think like guys like Charles Barkley. Like Charles Barkley was a beast, bro. AI was a beast. Like these are dudes that changed the game, had a dominant impact. And just because they didn't win a ring, I know it's nice to poke fun. I poke fun at them, here and there. But the way they played the game, it's not their fault. You know what I mean?
At all,
like not
man.
Individually, especially if you perform in the playoffs.
Absolutely, though, because you add it to the resume, man, and you're gonna come up short. Unless you got the right things on your side. Like, you got to think about the injuries. You got to think about the matchups.
True.
You got to think about all the shit that goes on during the season as far as your seeding and who you're playing and on the road and all the way down to the smallest details of a couple missed free throws in the first quarter that could have won you game 3 on the road and shift the momentum back to your side. Like, it's so many things that plays into winning the championship, and you need so many things to go right. You look at 2015. I know we keep comparing the 2015 Warriors, but think about their path for a little bit. You knock off Anthony Davis led Pelicans in the first round, which you should have. But then you run into that Memphis squad who's up 2-1 on you, and then Mike Conley goes down. And then I forgot who did they play in the Western Conference Finals that year.
Somebody that was Houston, right? And Chris Paul went down.
No. That's when they got KD. I think that was 2017. But I forgot who they. But anyway, you skip right to the finals, and then you got Kyrie and Kevin Love go right down. So it's just so many things that could go wrong, and there's so many things that could go right, man. And I wanted to piggyback off what you said as far as like building a culture, because I feel like once you build a culture within a team, it always stays cemented. Or even if you have a down year, it could always get resurrected, and that's why you see teams like Boston and Lakers still hold their fandom even when they're going through their down years. You see Miami staying afloat after the whole Big 3 situation because they created that culture there. Right. You said with the Warriors and the way they drafted and they built that dynasty, they done created a culture there. So it's no matter what player comes through, you can build them up. And you got guys that come through that don't work out, but you got guys that come through and they find their home and they build that franchise up and they build that organization up to where it can stay sustainable no matter what goes on.
Yeah, bro. And that's why I think some of these big franchises, right? There's a pressure to be a GM of the Celtics or the Lakers or the Heat, or Golden State. Now, there's a pressure that comes with that, right? Because we've had this sustained success throughout our franchise's history, or for the majority of it. A GM of Minnesota or a GM of Charlotte. The pressure is less, so you may feel like you have a chance. You're like, I'm stepping into something. I need to fix this. But, there's pros and cons of that pressure. Pressure makes diamonds. And I think that's why these franchises they'll take a few down years, but they figure it out because the pressure's on. Think about the pressure on Rob Pelinka. When you have players like Magic, well, I'm going to go back, Jerry West and Elgin Baylor, then Magic and Kareem, then Kobe and Shaq, then LeBron and AD, like you consistently need to stay afloat. And the same thing with Boston. When you go back to Bill Russell and Cousy and McHale and Bird and Parrish and Pierce and Garnett, and now, these top franchises find a way to stay on top. Man. Yeah, bro, and that's going to be the NBA Finals this year, probably.
Whoo.
Although I'm not counting Jimmy out. Although I'm not counting Jimmy out.
Who take quickly though before we wrap up? Who takes game 2?
Boston definitely takes game 2. I can see this going 7, bro. I'm gonna
Just
be
like
honest.
last year.
Yeah, but the difference is, yes, in Milwaukee, Miami got game 1 in Boston last year too, if you recall.
Mm.
And game 7 is going to be a tough one. It's not going to be the Sixers. It's not going to be like the Sixers game 7. Miami has a whole different type of pedigree to them. But that game 7 is going to be one to tune into. Who you got?
I'm sticking with my overall pick to win the series is the
Boston
Celtics, but game 2, I like Boston.
Yeah.
I think Boston wins. I think they regroup. I think they figure some things out because, all playoffs they kind of been here when they need to start transcending up, especially like right now. They don't want to get into a back and forth because I like Celtics in 7, but I still don't think you want to go 7 with a guy like Jimmy Butler over there. So
Agreed.
We'll see how this one plays out.
I still think the winner of this Western Conference Final Series wins the championship.
I do too.
I just think I see too many flaws. Yeah, I just see too many flaws in the East.